Greetings and salutations, and this is TechRadot here, back with part 2 of the best level song from every Sonic game that I've played. Now, the title doesn't get as specific as that, but I do want to still make that clarification at the beginning of the video, for the same reason I did last time. Anyway, there will be some extra clarification here, because I forgot to say this in the last video, but these are strictly my opinions. If you feel like a different song from these games was better than the ones I'm selecting, feel free to share it in the comments, and your opinion's valid, you know? They're all just opinions, they're not fact, you know? This video isn't to spit facts, it's to basically show love to things I like. And things you like is an opinion. Anyway, let's get into it. Babylon Gardens from Sonic Riders. Now, this was the next game we were going to do. I don't know if this is in the release order. It came out the same year as 06, but I don't know if this came first or 06 came first. But I think this one came first, so we're going over this one first. I've said first too many times, so let's get into this. Why do I like Babylon Gardens? Babylon Gardens, to me, it fits the environment really well. It's kind of similar to a couple songs I went over in the last video. It fits its level theme really well, but it also just has this uniqueness to it that makes it stand out from the other track songs, the other tracks in the game, you know, even down to its music. There's something about Babylon Gardens that's just really unique sounding, from the electronic drums to I want to almost say atmospheric chords. I think that's chords we're hearing, I don't know, but this is just a really well put together song that stands out from most of the rest of the soundtrack in a good way, as well as being a part of one of the best tracks in Riders. That's really all I have to say about this. We're going to keep this a little shorter because I don't want to ramble as much as I did last time. So, let's move on. Aquatic Base Level 2 from Sonic 06. Now, I'm not a big fan of Sonic 06. I'm also not one of those people that will bash it to hell and back because I do think it's overhated. But at the same time, I do think some of its hate's deserved, and I do think it's one of the worst games in the entire franchise. I would play it over Forces and Secret Rings any day, but I wouldn't willingly play it unless those were the only 3 games that I had a choice to play, you know? But anyway, let's get into why I like this music. Aquatic Base Level 2 starts out with this kind of I want to say sinister sounding electric guitar, and then it kind of goes into it might be, no, I think it actually is bass. I think it starts out with bass, and then it kind of goes into this kind of these, I don't know what to call them because I can't tell what instrument it is. I think it might be synths, it could be keys, but it goes into this sound that kind of fits the aquatic tone of the level, and then you get this electric guitar that kind of somewhat brings back the sinister feel, but to a lesser degree, and it kind of comes together in sounding like a really good final stage track for the game, and it is the final stage for Sonic's story, so that makes sense. That's really all I have to say about it. It's just it's really good at fitting where that level fits in Sonic's story. That's kind of it. Sonic and the Secret Rings. My least favorite game in the entire franchise. At least out of the games I've played of it anyway. From this, I've chosen Skeleton Dome, but it wasn't really a hard choice, really, because this game, I might just be sleeping on this game's soundtrack, but to me, this game has one of the weaker soundtracks in the franchise, and the only, I think I can only name 2 games that I like the soundtrack in less, and that's Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric and Sonic 1. But there's still this one right here, and obviously the main theme, 7 Rings in Hand, goes off. But there's not really much praise I could give this song, really, because it kind of just won this spot by default. I honestly think Secret Rings has a really weak soundtrack, and this was literally like the only level music that I felt I felt that I could remember at least a little bit, you know? Because in my opinion, Secret Rings has very forgettable level music. But that might just be me. Kind of feels fitting that right after my least favorite game in the franchise, we have my favorite game in the franchise, Sonic Rush Adventure. And with that, we have Haunted Ship, which is my favorite level from that game for many reasons, but the main one being is its music. There's just something really cool and really nice to hear from Haunted Ship. It's obviously got the kind of rock sound going on, but it's still got those Rush style drums. I don't know what genre that's supposed to be, but you know what I'm talking about, the drums used in both all over both the Rush games. But on top of that, it's got this synth that kind of gives a spooky vibe to it. It all comes together, kind of sounding really nice on the ears. And every time I go back to Sonic Rush Adventure, I can't help but jam out to this music while I'm playing the stage. Which, granted, kind of hurts my performance in the stage a little bit, I won't lie. But I just can't help it. This is the best song in that game, and I think it's definitely in my top 5 songs in the series of all time, even including vocal themes. I think this is in my top 5 in the entire series. And I know I'm going on a little long about this one, but this is probably my favorite song in the entirety of these 2 videos. There might be one that best it later, though. I don't know if I put this above Dragon Road or not. Actually, yeah, this one goes above Dragon Road because Dragon Road is not my top 5. But I just spoiled what one of the next ones are going to be. Anyway, let's just move on. Dive into Gravity, the theme of Crimson Crater from Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. Now, I've expressed before that Sonic Riders Zero Gravity has one of my favorite soundtracks in the entire series. This game unleashed Rush Adventure, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and fuck it, I think I'd even throw in Frontiers. Are probably my favorite soundtracks for the entire series, but this one and Rush Adventure are definitely top 2, with Unleashed being number 3. Now, with rambling aside, what makes me love this song so much? I just have fond memories of Crimson Crater. It's one of the tracks from Zero Gravity I've always had the most fun with. I remember playing it on the Wii, and it's just a fun time. There's really not much else to say. I just have kind of a bias for the song, because it was my favorite track from that game to play, you know? That's kind of really it. I know, I'm trying to go, a little deeper into, why these songs are so good, this video, but there's still gonna be a couple ones like this one, where it just boils down to, I like it. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Dragon Road Knight from Sonic Unleashed. I have really fond memories of this Hedgehog stage in particular. While I do agree the Hedgehog stages get a little too lengthy and too repetitive after a while in the game, this was one of the better ones. And in my honest opinion, I always loved the Hedgehog tracks more than the daytime tracks, and it is because I do like the jazzy vibes a little more than the rock vibes, even though I enjoy both of them a lot. But that's just how I feel. I think, in my honest opinion, Dragon Road Knight is the best track in the entirety of Sonic Unleashed. I love its really gentle, I want to say wind instruments, that's what it sounds like, but I also like the the gentle keys and wind instruments on it, and then the energetic drums. It just comes together sounding really nice, and it's nice background music for when you're trying to beat a Hedgehog level. If every Hedgehog level had this song, I would not have complained about any of them. I would have just been jamming out, ignoring how frustrating and long some of them get. And that's really the only thing that puts Sonic Unleashed under Rush Adventure for me. That's why Rush Adventure is my favorite game, because there's no part of Rush Adventure that holds it back, in my opinion. But Sonic Unleashed is held back by a couple of its Hedgehog levels. Just a couple, 2 or 3 of them, but that's it. Anyway, let's move on. You knew this one was coming. Aquarium Park, Sonic Colors. Well, this is the Act 1 mix of it anyway. Anybody who's watched my Sonic Colors Ultimate Let's Play knows that this is my favorite song from the entire game. And like Haunted Ship and Dragon Road Knight, it is one of my favorite tracks from the entire series. I love the it gets stuck in your head really easy, and it's really nice on the ears because it has gentle instruments in the mix, kind of like Dragon Road Knight did. It's a really beautiful sounding song, and I just love listening to it. It's nice that music to have in the background of, anything. I could listen to this song on Spotify and be absolutely jamming out. I could have it between a T-Pain and a Kendrick Lamar song and be jamming out to this shit. I'm not even playing. That's how good this song is. It's honestly a banger. But, I'm gonna let it just play out until the part. There we go. This song is probably number 2 of the entirety of these videos after Haunted Ship. I just love it. I just love it so much, man. I got some nostalgia for it too, because I played Colors when I was 11, so I have nostalgia for it too. It's just so great, man. Rooftop Run Classic from Sonic Generations. Of course you knew I was gonna choose another Unleashed track when it came to Generations. Jokes aside, this is the one classic remix from Generations that I actually really love, because for the most part, the other classic remixes in Generations either sound too much like the modern version, or they're just not that memorable in the first place. But this one always hits when I hear it. Also being part of one of the best classic levels in Generations, and one of the best levels chosen for the game overall, I honestly think this might be my favorite song from the game. Now, it's hard to really choose with Generations though, because you already have the 9 stages that you have a classic and modern version of. but you also have optional tracks you can put over them from other stages that aren't in Generations. But I went with this one because I decided to just stick with the ones you have in the base game before you unlock other songs. Press Garden Act 2 from Sonic Mania. Now, there's plenty to choose from for Sonic Mania, but I decided to go with one of the stages that were new to the game, since for the most part, the soundtrack for reused stages aren't anything new aside from like a few remixes for second acts for a few stages. But yeah, not really much new there. So I decided to go with one of the new acts, and Press Garden Act 2 is definitely my favorite in terms of the original tracks in Mania. And I honestly, like, this shouldn't be as a surprise. After having Aquarium Park on here, after having the choice I chose for Zero Gravity on here, it really should not be a surprise that I like this song, since it has a similar vibe to Aquarium Park in terms of its sound, but it's similar to a few other songs I've put in these videos. It's probably one of the best level themes ever in the Sonic series. Like, the level itself is kind of a unique combination of like tundra, a flower garden, and like a factory, which is it's a really beautiful thing to look at. But it's funny. What's funny about that is that this song somehow fits that perfectly. To fit something that specific and that weird of a combination this perfectly and have that combination work as one of the best stages in Mania overall is really impressive, and that's why it's my choice for the best level song in Sonic Mania. Aqua Road from Sonic fucking Forces. I was literally forced to put this game on here because I've played it. Now, bias against this game aside, Aqua Road is one of the few levels in Sonic Forces I never minded too much. And why is that? Because one, it's an avatar stage, and the avatar stages are the least terrible part about Forces gameplay. On top of that, it has the best level track in the entire game. You can't tell me this song doesn't go off. Literally, you could slap like some some extra vocal verses on here, and this would sound like a legitimate song, not connected to a level at all. Like this, it's that good. I love Aqua Road so much. It was my intro at one point. Dragon Road's also been my intro, and so is Aquarium Park. But this was my Ronan Games intro at one point. And for good reason. It's the one good thing from Sonic Forces. Frozen Junkyard from Team Sonic Racing. Now, I do have a little bit of a bias here because the ice levels in Team Sonic Racing are probably some of my favorite tracks in the game. Tracks as in race tracks, not, music tracks. But this music has always hit for me. Like, it's always been the most fitting song in Team Sonic Racing to me. It has that go fast, get moving kind of vibe to it. Like, it's energetic, it's got that nice electric guitar. It literally also sounds like it could fit right at home in like a Sonic Adventure game if it was remixed a little bit. And that's kind of cool. Something I do like about Sonic Racing a bit is that some of its music, including its main theme, give off that adventure era vibe, and this song is definitely one of the tracks in the game that does that a little bit. But there's not really much else to say here. The only reason it wins is because it's the best song for a racetrack level they could have chosen. That's mostly what the appeal is for me. And I just like it. Another song I chose just because I like it. I'm sorry. I tried to do that a little less in this part than I did in the first part, but it still happened a couple times. Moving on to the final song. Cyberspace 4-2 from Sonic Frontiers. Yes, this means I have not played Superstars or Dream Team. Don't at me. I probably will never be able to play Dream Team unless they port it to something else. So, anyway, the reason why I chose this is that it's honestly just the vibe. The vocals are soothing. The instrumental is kind of like energetic a little bit. I like the synth that they're using. I like the drums. It's just a really nice mix. It's easy on the ears. It's probably the most enjoyable cyberspace stage song to listen to, which is why I chose it. Not really much to say outside of that, and I don't really have much time to because cyberspace stages are short, so I don't know how much video I will have to put over this. And there you have it, my choices for the best level song from each of the 22 Sonic games I have played. 22 songs across 2 videos. This honestly was the most work I've ever put into videos, so I really hope that it was worth it and that people enjoy it. And at the end of the day, remember that this is my opinion. You are valid to have different opinions. I even want you to share your opinions in the comments of this and the last video if you feel like it. Just be civil about it. Let's have a civil conversation. Let's just talk about it, you know? Like, there's no need to go to war or anything. We all just have opinions. Everybody has them. It's a normal thing. So let's be civil here. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you haven't seen part 1, please go check that out now. If you like this video, demolish that like button. And if you want to watch me do Let's Plays or watch me do other gaming type videos in the future, please hit that sub button for more content. This has been TechRenan, signing out.